made it. You guys made it too. Thank you so much for being here.
In person and in Zoom. Hello to all of our virtual people.
So we'd like to start off with a quick land acknowledgement. We are on the lands of the Duwamish people. So thank you for letting us be here. I am Jarrett Zemer, Evergreen Cascades to Sound's new community engagement coordinator. That's a mouthful.
We like to have long titles here at Evergreen. My name is Liz Lenderman. I'm the Cascades to Sound development lead. And we are so excited for tonight. It's a really special event. And we're going to kickstart it off with a note from our new president, Tony Hickok. Warm welcome, him.
All right, let's give it up for Liz and Jarrett. All right, so just real quickly, want to say hi and thank you for being here. As they said, my name is Tony Hickok, new board president. I'm based out of Wenatchee. I've been involved with Evergreen for about 10 years. I've been a member since 2016 and spent the last 3 years as the central chapter president and the state board representative for the North Cascades region, 1 of 2 for the North Cascades. Want to take a quick moment to say thank you to Peter for the last 2 years. It's an honor to take over this position and look forward to getting to meet you, many of you much more over the next couple of years. Want to thank you for coming. Thank you for everything that you do for Evergreen. And thank you for helping make Washington the best place to ride. Tonight's an opportunity for us to come together to celebrate a lot of big wins and successes over the last year, to learn a lot more about what's happened recently in the last 12 months, and to shift our focus into really, hitting 2024, rolling in with good momentum. Tonight, I just want you to take a moment to reflect on why you are involved with Evergreen, what Evergreen means to you, and then to use tonight to really reinvigorate all the inspiration of the successes that we're going to talk about. Use that to find new ways to engage with Evergreen, get new people engaged with Evergreen, and to make 2024 the best year that we've ever had. Without further ado, to really kick off the night and to get things rolling and to pick us up on, get us up to speed on the state of Evergreen, where Evergreen is today. Without further ado, our executive director, Yvonne Krause.
Hey everyone. If you can't tell, we're having a lot of fun at Evergreen right now, and I'm so excited to see you all here in person, to continue that fun, to share it, and to most of all say thanks, because you're all the ones that are making that happen for us. So I've been in this role now for a number of years. We're continuing to grow. We're continuing to make new projects happen and play in ways and in places that are new, renewed, and just absolutely loving what we're able to do together. So thanks for making that happen for us. I have the great pleasure to be able to introduce the board. Tony is my new boss. This is, I think, the first time that we've had so many board members here present in person from chapters across the state. So I don't have time today to run through all of the member names and board member names because we are growing so fast, but board members, please stand up. And everyone, if you're online, raise your hand as well. So online, so welcoming back this year is our treasurer, who used to be a treasurer and is back. We're so happy to have him, Jim Jacobson. Also new this year, but not able to join us, unfortunately, this evening is Andrew Grant. We're excited to have him on board. This crew is volunteer. They direct all of their work. They make sure that we are on track towards a strategic plan. And tonight you have the opportunity to let them know what you want to see in 2030, because that plan is happening tonight with the first opportunity for you to comment and let them know where we should go. So thank you for that. Thank you, board members. That brings me to what I love the most and what brings me, oh, well, maybe not. Maybe not. Can you forward the slide now?
There you go.
Try this again. There we go. That brings me to staff. So this is why I love going to work every day. These are my colleagues. These are my friends. These are your friends. This is our community, right? This is the crew that makes all of the programs happen. This is the crew that makes sure that the support that you give us goes to the right places, to the right programs in a very effective way. So the green highlights here, I just want to highlight the fact that this year our team has not only grown, but we've had a lot of internal promotions as well. So new to the program team is Nick McLean. We finally, for the first time ever, have a person on the east side of the mountains doing project management. This is really, really cool. So Mick, raise your hand, welcome, congratulations. Ryan Jackson and Paul Martin and Jared and Heather, raise your hand because this is all in. And then both Jared and Liz moving from a role to just lead the chapter now, the Cascades to Sound chapter, promoted into chapter development lead is Liz, who's bringing the fun, as you can see. Liz. I'm going to be filling some very large shoes in the new role of our trails director is David Fleischhauer. And then that brings me to the trail crew. We couldn't do any of this without the trail crew. We're growing. They're effective. They're expert. They're passionate. They get so much done in the fields. They're sometimes a little strong-willed, maybe sometimes a little stubborn, maybe sometimes a little opinionated. And this time of year, usually very dirty and wet. But this crew is why we are Evergreen, right? This crew is why we are known for what we do. This is what you get to experience every day when you're out riding. You are riding the fruits of their labor. And most of all, you're making this crew possible. We've been able to turn a trail building crew into a sustainable, long-term, for the most part, we're still trying to do better, but livable wage jobs to allow us to be working year-round statewide. So thank you. We couldn't do this without you. We still absolutely rely on the membership support for that. So crew members, raise your hand. Huge round of applause. I can never talk about staff without also highlighting Pavel, who is staff, is what we call them, whether it's voluntary or involuntary. Pavel, raise your hand, leading the way in technology. And you know, it's a great pleasure to introduce you today, Viveka Stamolis, who's joining us in January. He's joining us in January as our marketing and communications manager. So welcome, Ben. We are going to advertise some positions next year, so maybe you can be part of this crew too. Thank you, Tara. So this is us. We're growing. We're in the field a lot, and hopefully are inspiring your riding adventures. I can't say enough about why I'm in this job. It's because of everybody here and because of you. So thank you. This is the state of Evergreen today. Very, very quickly, we have a laser focus on our mission that hasn't changed. You can trust us to apply your donations effectively in the field. We're continuing to grow. We're continuing to focus on volunteerism, making sure trails are developed, planned, advocated for, maintained, and doing that just with constant laser focus, as I mentioned. We're continuing to win awards. Advocacy is strong, so we'll keep it up. And I think normally I have a lot to say about how we do in programs and what we're doing, but this is us. We are making this happen together. So that's all I want to say this year. But we do owe you a financial report to show how we're all making all of this happen. So Micah is going to talk about how we're doing financially. This is for the top.
Hey, everybody, how's it going? I'm Micah Shapiro. I'm the finance director at Evergreen. I've been here for almost 2 years, and it's been an awesome ride, having a lot of fun with it. Fun with numbers, as they say. Just to kind of talk about where does our money come from, and then what do we do with it? So over here on this side, this is the where our money comes from, our income. So you can see the trails income is the biggest part of that. Over half of our income comes from basically working with municipalities, land managers to build trails. Fundraising is the next piece there, about 20%. And then you can see education, membership, and then marketing and events. So that's where our money comes from. And then how do we spend it? So I think looking on this side, you can see obviously, well, we're bringing this much money for trails. Obviously, we've got to spend some to make it. You know, that's payroll, that's equipment, that's materials. And then our overhead was about 17% overhead. And then you can see the rest of the expenses as we move down the pie. And I wanted to bring up kind of the historical our breakdown as far as income. You can see back in 2018, you know, trails and donations were about the same, but you can see the trails has just taken off and it's become this huge thing. It's increased about over 3 times, 300% increase in our trails program. Membership growth as far as income about 200%. The contributed revenue were about 180, and then our education program heads in the way. About 150%. So, you know, a lot of growth at Evergreen over the past 5 years. And we're basically programmed to keep this growth going. So then kind of where we are right now, currently as of October 31st, we've got a net income of about 143,000. So that's a profit for if we're talking in the profit world, but we're a nonprofit. But basically we have $143,000 more than we had last year at this time. So great job, everybody, the trail builders, education program, everybody else at Evergreen to make this happen. You can kind of see kind of everything here, you know, the growth in the various programs. Grant revenue is down, but that's a very small number, so I wouldn't pay attention to that. You know, if you look at everything else, you know, $10,000 versus 1.4 million in trail contracts. So, and then expenses, expenses are up, but that is because we're doing more trail work. Our education program has grown. We're hiring people. So we're basically doing more stuff. So we've got to spend more money to make that happen. But as I said, we're in a lot better place this year than we were last year. Last year, we were at basically $137,000 in the hole. And we're like, okay, we really got to focus on this, our end of year donations to kind of get us back out. So we're in a good place, and we're basically set up for success for next year. You know, our goal last year we did about $200,000 in our end of year campaign, and we're shooting for that this year as well. We currently have about $2.2 million in trail work programmed into our budget, and we're going to see how much of that we can make happen. Over 60 new projects or existing projects that we're going to get moving. We're continuing to grow our education program. We just went through an internal audit, so we've got to a size now where we need to do an audit, basically pay someone to do an audit so we can submit audited financial statements to the state. And we're going through that right now, and we're going to incorporate some of their findings and recommendations to kind of help us better. And then as Vaughn brought up, we've added a lot of new staff, and that's going to continue to happen, you know, to basically add capacity for events, community building, fundraising, more fun. I mean, the idea is to basically grow Evergreen, grow the trails, grow our community here. So that's kind of where we are as far as financials. And that's all I got. I'm going to pass it back to Vaughn.
Micah is in the middle of an audit right now, so extra round of applause because he's working extra. He's chasing down the receipts and the reports that are buried down deep. So, but that's really good news because it means that we've grown as an organization to a level where those audits are now required. We'll be doing it every year. And it's good for us. So next year, thank you, Micah, implementing some new practices for that and hopefully getting even more efficient. So I am covering for Kristen on a quick report out of how we're doing with education and our DEI efforts. Kristen's not with us tonight. If you have worked with Kristen, you know how amazing she is, how dedicated she is to the program, to the quality of our education program, how she works tirelessly across the state. So I'm not going to do her report justice, but I'll try. And Kristen, if you are with us online, then post in the chat all of the things that I forgot and did not do very well tonight. So here, I'll give my best, effort at this. So we did absolutely wonderful in our education program. Always quality over quantity for us. We haven't grown it a whole lot, but tried to service as many people with a high quality level of service and experience in our education programs, whether it's clinics, camps, classes. Hopefully you've all participated in some of them. But over 700 adults moving through those classes. We awarded over $8,000 from our DEI fund to youth in scholarships. So 37 kids were able to go through a program this year that we haven't, or they otherwise wouldn't have been. Across the state, not the street. We'll party across the street in a minute. Maybe my brain's ahead. So 500 campers in 5 locations across the state. And Kristen wanted to remind me to let you know that registration for camps opens in January. So if you've got kids going or you want to enroll them again, it starts in January. Keep an eye on our calendar for that. We're always looking for coaches as well, so come join us. Matt, raise your hand. We're all the way back there in the corner. Go talk with Matt if you have any questions about what it means to help us out with the education program. And then shout out to the West Sound chapter. So up there in the corner to the left is the West Sound instructor team celebrating after a program that tripled. And it really is remarkable what investment in a ride park means in then bringing people onto these trails into education programming and in kids camps, right? So Port Gamble Ride Park opened and this program instantly doubled or tripled in size, remarkable progress. Kristen's really good at celebrating success with the coaches and the instructors. So we have fun. This is the team celebrating up at the summit. And yeah, come and join us. It's become quite a significant program with over 1,000 students served every year. From a DEI perspective, there's a lot that I could talk about, but I want to highlight 2 things. One is our adaptive mountain bike program. This year, we really focused on that aspect. And it's been a remarkable journey in multiple ways. One, we've engaged our own staff in learning what these bikes are, how to behave on the trail, and what our trail crew needs to know in order to either adapt, change the design of a trail to better handle and accommodate these bikes. We don't necessarily want to make the experience easy. The adaptive riders want that green to black experience just like we do. And so really understanding what that means, how these bikes handle, has been an interesting experience. This is Liz. Oops. This is Liz right here. Figuring out the limits of her riding ability on these trails. It's very challenging. And it is. So integrated into the education program, we hosted 4-week classes for 6 adaptive riders. This summer again, we partner with Outdoors for All. We partner with Wounded Warriors to engage veterans. So really quite a remarkable story for us. And this is a recent, I believe it was recent, right, Matt, in Port Gamble, identifying access for adaptive bikes as well, and what we could do to the trails there to host adaptive riders better. So that's been really amazing. The other DEI efforts that we've been in, more women's work parties, more women's and femme identifying events. If you didn't make it to Darrington last year for Shovel and Shred, then contact Liz or Heather and come next year and join us. So lots more women changing the trails, being engaged. And then I personally have been working with the Snoqualmie tribe on integrating cultural messaging into our trail development and signs, and integrating Lashutsi onto our trail signs. So what you see here is a prototype of the trail signs that are going up. They look different. There's a lot going on in these signs that we may not be aware of at first glance. But that trail network will be signed in full with the Lashutsi names and this kind of imagery in the spring of 2024 at Tenant Trailhead in North Bend. So we're making a lot of change happen. We're trying really hard. I think our entire team is very passionate about it. So thank you for that as well. And that's my DEI report.
Who here has been to a work party? Raise your hand. Well, we have Brandon here, our volunteer program manager. He is going to highlight some of the amazing work our volunteers have been doing this year. Brandon.
Hello. Got my emotional support group. Oh. All right. So. All right. Well, hi, everyone. My name is Brandon. I am Evergreen's, as Liz said, volunteer program manager for our statewide. And I'm pleased to present you all with highlights from our volunteer program this year, as well as present and recognize all those standouts who received our Volunteer of the Year award nominations this year. So to get things going, I just want to say that volunteers for Evergreen, they are the backbone of this organization. Whether it's out teaching the next generation of new riders, being trail stewards on the hundreds of miles of trail we have across the state, on our boards, meeting with land managers, advocating for trails so we all have great access and continued access for the trail that we have across the state. So just a huge thank you for everyone that volunteers. Anyone that's out here that's been to a work party, it seems like most of people here have been to work parties, so that's really awesome to see. So huge round of applause for everyone who volunteers. Yeah, we really couldn't do it without you all. This year, we've seen 20,529 hours of volunteer work across the state. Of that, there was 17,000 hours of trail work, and I am still receiving sign-in sheets from across the state. So this isn't even our final hours for the year yet. 1,400 hours of education, 405 hours at events, including we got some volunteers back there that are volunteering for this event. And then our board members putting in 1,600 plus hours throughout the entire year. So huge thank you to all of you across the state for doing this and keeping it up. We really rely on the droves of volunteers that all come out and join us. So thank you. So now let's get on to our volunteers of the year. We want to celebrate those who have gone above and beyond. And while there's so many great volunteers across the state, while I wish we could honor every single one of you, we have to choose a couple to point out for sure. And you know, with that, this year, our volunteers of the year will be receiving a Roco trail tool, as well as a volunteer pouch. And then our nominees will, because they were nominated as well, will also be receiving a handsaw and a t-shirt. So to start things off with Cascades the Sound, we have Peter Sherrill, Who's back there? Some known as Mr. President, some known as the co-chair, yeah, past president, past Mr. President. Thank you for everything that you've done and everything you continue to do out there.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, this is for you, by the way. All right, thank you, Peter. I only brought Ron Rocco with me today. If you are on this list and I didn't bring yours, yours will be coming in the mail.
We just wanted all the virtual people to see you, Peter.
Oh, yeah. it's like-
There you go.
Peter's right here. Hi, everyone.
What I would say real quick, if I may,
Yes.
I've been doing this for 13 years since I moved here. And I like to think that this award was more for the 13 years that I've been doing all of this, when Evergreen was about the size of everybody in this room. This was Evergreen. The first two December gatherings I went to were potlucks at someone's house. That's how small we were. And when I look at who's doing all the work this year and last year, there's so many people more deserving than me the last 2 years who've been doing so much work. So I want to thank all of you for making this place so incredible to ride mountain bikes in. And yes, I am the total sheriff. I'm meeting with the total manager tomorrow to make sure that the place stays open, so it's a good hit.
And then nominees that we have for Cascade Sound are Jessica McMillan and Emily Wise, so around as well. For our central chapter, we had 2 winners for the Volunteers of the Year. They are siblings, Hudson and Clara Burschauer. Nominated for giving in $20 and also the education program. Harlan Hopper was the nominee runner-up. Round of applause for Harlan too. For Callus That Cheese, Chris O'Brien was this year's Volunteer of the Year. He's putting a ton of effort in leading work parties and planning events out in that chapter. So round of applause. For our East chapter, Corey Williams, always eager to help the chapter with a smile on his face. So round of applause for Corey. For the Kittitas chapter, we have Brian Crowley, longtime Evergreen volunteer, and he's been putting a ton of effort into the new trails at Teanaway Community Forest. Round of applause for Brian. For the Meadow chapter, Carolyn Marquardt. She has been super eager and always the first to offer to help and get things done quickly. Sorry, I'm also reading quotes from the testimonials that I received. All right, round of applause. For the Southwest chapter, Tyler Crushcamp. He has been one of the main maintenance guys down there in the Yakult Burn. If you've ridden on those trails, you've probably ridden on some of his work. So round of applause for Tyler. And then for West Sound chapter, we have Isaac Gauchi. That's correct. Isaac was nominated for playing a large role in revamping this West Sound social media and working a ton in the ride park. The nominee runner-up for West Sound was also Emily. So I don't know if you guys noticed earlier, she was our nominee for the Cascades of Sound chapter too. So this year we've created a new Volunteer of the Year role, and that is the multi-chapter Volunteer of the Year. And that will include my talk. Who's going up after me? Oh, I got it. All right. There you go.
So, Jarrett, you're a trailblazer, right?
This is true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you heard of these 2 guys? They're named Mike and David.
Iron Mike Westra. David the Don King, watch out.
The king of the trails.
So,
come on.
this is why you're here. Let's go over to the trails statewide update. All right.
Hi, everybody. Huge thanks for being here. Feels good to be back here in person. Last time we met in person like this was 2019. Feels really good. Thanks for coming. David and I are gonna give you a quick statewide overview of all of our trails, accomplishments, and plans. But before we do that, how about a little quiz? All right, so these are the top 10 Trail Forks riding areas in terms of ride logs logged to Trail Forks. So that's one thing that we have to measure. This is the number of total ride logs logged to Trail Forks.
Can I interrupt real quick?
Yes.
There's swag, okay, so just a heads up. Get
Oh,
ready.
yeah, that's right. They're
Yeah,
using
I see you, yeah, okay, it's coming.
All right, so I want to see a show of hands. Who thinks the number one riding area in terms of ride logs on Trail Forks at 140,000 ride logs was Beacon Hill in Spokane? Show of hands. One, yeah. Two. All right, let's see what happens. All right, who thinks it's B, Doobie Hill? A lot more hands, a lot more hands. How about C, Galbraith Mountain in Bellingham? Ooh, even more hands, even more hands. All right, how about Raging River? There's some hands, Tiger Mountain.
Yeah, right.
Ooh, that may be the number one. How about Total? Total, no. All right, and the answer is Total. Not even an Evergreen riding area, but hey, we represent the state.
Oh, thanks, Steve Ryder.
At almost 140,000 ride logs and 2.5 times the second place. So who do you think? Who's second place? Doothy.
Tiger.
I heard Doothy. What else?
Tiger.
Tiger. How many tiger? Lots of tiger. How many raging? How many Beacon, Togo? All right, here we go. I don't know how the hats are gonna work. It's just they're all randomly, but here we go. Just Tiger Mountain number 2. Okay. All right, number 3, shout it out. Is it Beacon, Doothy, Raging, or Togo? I hear Raging.
Also next to
I hear all kinds of stuff. Doothy. So. All right. That's hilarious. So you gotta kind of think like, who goes to Doothy and turns on their ride log compared to who goes to Galbraith or Tiger Mountain turns on their ride log. And we know that Doothy gets 100 to 2,000 visits a year. So, take this with a grain of salt. When you look at Trail Forks riding area check-ins, which says, hey, I'm here riding versus actually taking a ride log, Tiger and Doothy actually swap, but the rest of these are all the same. So who do you think's number 4? Shout it out. Yes, Raging River. Then Beacon Hill and Spokane.
Easier.
This is really total. All right, what do all these have in common? All right, come on. What do all these have in common? They're mountain bike trails, correct. I've heard that before. They're all really close to large population centers, very close to cities. Most people in Bellingham can ride to Galbraith from their door. It's just so easily accessible. Grand Bridge and St. Edwards aren't, huge mountains with, epic trail systems, but they're here on the top 10 list because they're so close to where people live. So that's one of the things we really strive for is bring mountain biking closer to communities. All right, so what's next? Seasonality, check this out. Here's the statewide seasonality. You can see we get a lot of winter riding statewide. It kind of ramps up in the summer, falls off back down to winter. King County, very similar. Still a lot of winter riding. Check out Wenatchee. Very low in the winter because it's all snowed out. There's some fat biking at Squilchuck and Ski Hill and Leavenworth. But look at them, in the spring, they start to tail off as it gets hotter and drier. So who do you think, which riding area has a profile like this? Starts to peak in the winter and then starts to drop after spring to an August level. Joko! All right, lots of hats, lots of hats. And this is the reason right here. Dust, loose dirt, gravel. All right, now to the meat of the project. Micah's slide showed over $1 million in trail projects. This is a snapshot across the state of where that all comes from. Stuff going on in every corner of the state. Also, I would say the majority of these projects, not maybe half, are volunteer powered as well. So following up on Brandon's presentation, a lot of this is because volunteers like you that really make this happen. You know what? I've been up here every year since like 2010 doing this. What's new on this slide that's never been up here in previous years? Did I hear blue? Finally getting some action in southeastern Washington at Bluewood Ski Area in Walla Walla. So that's new. In fact, how many ski areas, without looking at it, how many ski areas do you think are on that list? Who thinks 3? Who thinks 4? How many ski areas do we have active projects in? Who thinks 4? I got 1 hand. Who thinks 5? Few hands. Do you think there are more ski areas than that? The answer is 5. We've got Bluewood, 49 North, Badger Mountain, Snoqualmie Pass, more coming. Where else? Oh, new design project at Crystal Mountain. What? So the chapters are each going to give their presentation, go into this in more detail. This is just to give you a little snapshot. 2024 plan, same thing, stuff going on all over the state. Lots of green. Green is the will be completed. Orange are projects that'll start, going on everywhere. One thing I wanted to highlight here is look at all the blue, which is maintenance. We got maintenance contracts going on all over the state. Check it out. Way up here in the Mets House, just tons of fire recovery maintenance funds, as well as Great American Outdoors Act funds covering us in the Colville National Forest. We've got trying to get some GOA, Great American Outdoors Act funding for SR 410 in Tucson. We've got Highway 2, Icicle Creek, Great American Outdoors Act, and we just signed a contract, a maintenance contract at 365. Great stuff going on. And now what I want to do is I'm so excited to turn over the person who's now responsible to implement all that. Our new amazing trails director, David Fleisch.
Well, gosh, I think I should have maybe prepared some quiz slides. Yeah, first thing that I want to touch on is our trail team. And really that means a lot of people that are in the room today, means a lot of people that are from all over the state that couldn't make it. But I'm just incredibly proud of the group that I get to work with on a daily basis. That means more than 30 trail builders that worked with Evergreen in the last year. That's incredible. That's a very different. That includes full-time year-round people on the west side. It includes full-time, less than year-round people on the east side, but really excited about the team that we have. And also the scheduling that we've been able to do, that we are able to normalize workflow levels on the west side and also take advantage of expertise on the east side and be able to have a lot of builders that are returning to projects year after year after year, even though there's not year-round work on the other side of the state. One other thing that I'm really excited about is the promotions that we have on the trail team. So Mike already spoke about he and my position changes. We're obviously excited about that, but one thing that I also want to touch on is leadership changes on the ground level. So we had 4 trail builders that previously had been our trail builder 2 level, which is a skilled trail builder, to those promotions to crew chief, which is still a ground in the dirt of it based position, but is overseeing everything. So we had 4 people get promoted there across 4 chapters. And then also one special promotion is Brian Tussison. He pulled out of the field and is now office-based, so he gets to look at Excel spreadsheets just as much as the rest of us up here. Really excited about having his expertise and experience, having spent so much time on the ground at projects, building Tahale, Port Gamble Ride Park, Swan Creek, etc. So really excited about that. Thank you, Brian.
Nice.
Gosh, looking back at 2023, it's just incredible, and I'm very, very proud of our team and everything that we've been able to accomplish across the state. This means construction projects in almost every chapter, building all these trails that we're now mostly open and we're able to enjoy. And it also means thousands of hours of maintenance work across the state. In addition to that, we've done design work on everything from paved pump tracks to entire new trail systems to expanding the Snoqualmie Pass Bike Park, and we're working on more. 2023 actually brings a year of increased strength and number of partnerships that Evergreen has been working with. We're very excited about that. And that means working with the Forest Service. It means working with Department of Natural Resources at a deeper level than we ever have. It means working with city parks departments, county parks departments, and a number of others. What you see up here on the upper left picture is a team of us that went to the International Trail Summit in Reno this last spring. We were presenting about the CCDH Trail project. That shout out to Sturdies. Thank you. That trail won an award for an incredible execution and partnership between a volunteer group and Evergreen as a trail organization. We're incredibly proud about that and very proud to be able to spread that news of that project to the international trail building community. And this kind of recognition, it always feels good to get, but it actually means more. It means that we're getting a seat at the table and that we're actually being seen as leaders in this industry across the world, and also as an example to other trail organizations that are working alongside us. So very proud about that. Thank you very much. When I look at 2024, wow, it's going to be really busy. So alongside all of our upcoming trail construction projects that all of the chapters will touch on separately, they told me that I could not talk about them. Alongside those, we also see an increased emphasis and need across the state for maintenance. Yeah. So we all know that that's one of our connections at DNR segment. But we definitely, this is heard, this is known, and we're going to be promoting this and encouraging this across the state. So how do we do that? It comes from donations to Evergreen that help support our professional trail crew on the land. It comes from getting more construction contracts from the land managers. And I think ultimately one of the big tools that we're going to have that helps with this is having more frequent and more locations of our trail schools. So this is something that Brandon's been heavily involved with. A number of our builders have been heavily involved with also. But these trail schools, it's you can be a beginner, come out, we'll show you how to do the work, and we're excited to give you the tools to be successful, to contribute to what's going on the land. There is a lot more work that needs to be done than our professional crew can possibly do, so we want to encourage volunteers to get out and do this work and keep these trails in excellent shape. Last thing I want to touch on, I know the chapter is going to be touching on this specifically, but development. Gosh, there's a lot in the works. As Mike mentioned, we have another lift serve bike park in the southeast, we have Crystal Mountains on the way. There's a lot of big projects and there's a lot of small ones, neighborhood, easy access parks like Tennant that I'm told that it's actually going to open up this spring. So really excited to be bringing more and more that's easy to access. And then also these really big destinations across the state. So thank you very much, and I'll pass this off. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mike and David. Now we get to go on a trip. I am so excited to go on this trip. We're gonna go all around Washington State to our 8 chapters and hear what is happening. To kick this off, we have Jesse Cunningham from the Kittitas chapter. Come on up. Got back from Norway, and we are so excited for him to be back in the Kittitas chapter.
All right, hi everybody. I'm going to tell you a little bit about what's been going on in the Kittitas chapter in the last year or so. Can you flip slide?
We're a trail construction company.
All right. I hope my clock's starting now. I only have 3 minutes and there's a lot to say. So highlights for 2023. I think the biggest thing that's happened in our chapter in 2023 was starting on the Teanaway Community Forest. This is a project for us that we've been working on planning for 10 years, and we finally were able to break ground this year. So that's super exciting. We broke ground on a 4-mile trail that will connect the top of Cle Elum Ridge, the existing Towns to Teanaway trail system that services Cle Elum, Roslyn, and Ronald. And that will allow us to connect over the ridge and down to the west fork of the Teanaway River. We completed about 2.5 miles of machine build of that trail this fall, and we'll hope to finish that next year. Onto Nanum Ridge, which is another one of our big trail systems. We've been working in this upper area that's primarily hand-built trail, and we completed the Hustler downhill trail that we've been working on, and also continued work on the sister Rustler trail. And we did a ton of maintenance up there this year. It's a lot of agile trail building that we've been doing, and it's not getting a lot of wheels. So we're having to go and continue to work on those trails over time. Monastash Ridge is a project that we've been sort of advocating for a while, and we have a trails plan in place that incorporates a lot of user-built trails. And this year we were able to start sort of implementing that trail with some signage at the trailhead and actually labeling some of the trails to make it easier for people to navigate out there. We're also doing ongoing maintenance there as well. And let's move to 2024. Thanks, Matt. 2024, more work in those same trail systems. In Danham, we'll hopefully finish the Rustler downhill and continue work on a cross-country loop that we're doing at the top of the ridge. And also looking to do a machine rebuild of the Ellensburg Blue Trail and continue maintenance there as well. Teanaway, we hope to finish that connector trail I was telling you about. And there's also a reroute that trail will connect into an existing trail that we need to reroute around some private property. And so we also will complete that to have a complete 6.5 mile downhill trail to the river. So that would be really cool. And then Monastash Ridge will continue our maintenance there and implementing some more of the trail plan priorities. A new project that we have in the chapter for 2024 is agreement with the U.S. Forest Service to do maintenance on Paris Creek, which is an old trail that's gotten quite overgrown, and we're hoping to sort of reclaim that for mountain biking and hiking. So that's a really exciting project for us to also get involved with the Forest Service. One last thing, since COVID, we've spent a lot of time sort of working on these trail projects of ours that have started to come online in our chapter. But we haven't put as much effort into building community, and we really want to get back to a renewed effort with that this year, with really having more events, more outreach, more of a focus on education and other things to bring more volunteers and more people into the organization and also just to get more people out on the trails. So hopefully, some of you will come over to visit us and see the trails that we have. Thank you.
So now we're all getting in our Evergreen bus and we're gonna drive down I-90 over to East Chapter. And despite our office episode, we actually do get ride breaks, which is really awesome. And this year we went over for our statewide board meeting over to East and we got to ride Mount Spokane. If you get the chance, go out and ride it. It's really, really cool and it's on state land. So we're gonna pass it over to Melinda from our East Chapter. Thank you so much, Melinda.
Thanks. Thank you, Liz. Hey, guys, it's good to be here with you. I want to add my thanks to everyone here and online, especially to my East Chapter members. My mind is blown when I look up at those volunteer hour numbers, 2,500. You guys are awesome. And of course, everyone in all the chapters, I would just want to say thanks for your support, for your membership, and for your volunteerism as well. In the East Chapter, we have many mountain biking opportunities and we have trails for everyone. Here's our highlights from 2023. As Liz mentioned, the official opening of Upper 290 at Mount Spokane is a 5-mile downhill trail from the top of the mountain almost to the park entrance. And we welcome the state board of directors this fall. And of course, we hauled them up to the top of the mountain and we sent them down the trail. And I heard that there was just only smiles at the bottom. At Riverside State Park, another state park in Spokane, we have the opportunity to work with the parks and some other land users to design and build new trails there in the Troutman Ranch area. We're also providing support for the city of Spokane at Beacon Hill, to pave the parking lot there, which is really exciting for those of us in the dust in our cars. Add some parking lot spots there. I know, exciting parking lots, and make some other improvements there. At Liberty Lake, we have completed a new connector trail and we have a really good start on an exciting uphill mountain bike trail. Yes, I said exciting again, and along with uphill, really uphill. It's exciting. And the crew from the Chewelah Valley Land Trust, they're just doing a great job at Gold Hill, building some new trails there. They have a flow trail, a skills park, and this summer they celebrated with the grand opening for those trails. So for our plans for 2024 are to complete that most exciting climbing trail at Liberty Lake, some trail refresh at Beacon Hill. David, I was going to tell you that refresh is how we talk about maintenance in the East Chapter. We call it refresh. We're going to continue advocacy work at Beacon Hill to preserve some additional land through conservation futures. We will start even in year 2 doing some improvement on that Upper 290. We're going to start phase 2 Mount Spokane State Park. We have some new jump lines planned, the Ridgeline Trail at Beacon Hill. We're going to design and implement another fantastic downhill trail at Micah Peak. And because of high demand, we are hoping to add some more kids camps in the East Chapter. And finally, you heard about from Mike, the Great Outdoors Act. We got $200,000 in funding to begin some trail refresh, maintenance, trail work at the Colville National Forest. So come ride with us in the East Chapter. We have room for everybody.
All right, has anyone heard of number 2 Canyon? Hey. What chapter is that in? Central. Well, we just want to give a shout out to Tom Ford, Jesse Livingston, and Mick McLean back there. Raise your hands. There's some of the awesome trail builders out in Central Chapter. We're bringing up Tony Feeney, who is the president of Central. He's gonna give a little rundown on what's happening. And if you haven't yet, you gotta head over to number 2 Canyon. It's one of my favorite places to ride.
Thanks, Liz.
Hi, everybody. Like you said, I'm Tony Feeney. I'm the new president for the central chapter. And basically just wanted to start off and give you guys the major highlights for us. Number one is 23 was our single biggest year for volunteer hours. We had 4,700 hours, and this is top of kind of everything because we couldn't get done everything on this list without having all these volunteers help. So that was a big win for us. So number one, volunteer hours. Absolutely. Got it. All right. So next on what we want to do here as far as update you guys on the highlights was phase 3 of our number 2 Canyon project. So like Liz said, great place to ride. We've had major project going on there. This was, in terms of facilities and infrastructure, the largest project Evergreen has undertaken. And so at number 2, we have put in a parking lot with 30 different spots. And we've also done a picnic shelter, kiosks, picnic tables, and we've built multiple trails. One is the Inigo Montoya Trail, which is a big jump line, an epic jump line up there, which is kind of the first of its kind in this area. And then we did Inconceivable, which is just a connector cross-country trail as well. So this was, like I said, one of our biggest projects. And to add to that, we were able to get $37,000 grant for a grant match for road improvement, which if anybody has actually ridden up to number 2 Canyon, that was one of the biggest challenges. And so this was a huge win for the chapter as well. And so that's a big part of what we were able to accomplish this year. And stepping away from number 2, we were able to do some work in Waterville. So we were able to do a Waterville community trail. And that's up kind of near the Badger Mountain area. We were also able to help build, and this was in Kashmir. We did a pump track, and this was really a community project. This was something done for a member that had passed away due to COVID complications. And so we were able to offer a lot of volunteer support hours and work to get that thing completed. So that was another big project for us. And then really just a lot of major maintenance. One of the big ones was 4th of July Icicle Ridge, one of the epics in our area. And this trail is probably in the best condition I have ever seen it. It took a lot of work to clear that thing, big backcountry trail. So that was a big project. And then Squilchuck State Park, if anybody's ridden there, there had been some forest health clearing. And so we just need to do a lot of rehabbing that area. All the trails were kind of, let's say dismantled, but destroyed because of some of that clearing. So just putting that back together has been a big project as well. And then you can see on the list, I mean, we've had some more, Ski Hill, obviously, Sage Hills, Mission Ridge, Beehive, Squilchuck, Lake Clara, and even Red Hill and Red Devil has all gotten maintenance this year. And kind of the final highlight and big section of our chapter is education. Education is a big part of what we do. We're really dedicated to it. And in the classes that we offered, we had total 536 participants. Again, this is a single biggest number for us this year as well. So again, just more increase, 7% increase over last year. And these are school programs that we do, camps, kid camps, adult classes, and private lessons. So looking forward to 2024, here's what we got going on is phase 4 of the number 2 Canyon project. So this is the 4th and final phase that we want to complete. It's going to add 2 new trails, a progressive skills park, and trailhead and parking lot. Another section that we're going to do is really just add to overall maintenance. It's a big part of our chapter, and some of the trails, especially in the Ski Hill area, just get loved to death, and they need a lot of work to take care of them and just handle all the riders that use those trails. So a lot of trail maintenance up at Ski Hill, Sage Hills, and then Squilchuck as well. We're completing a jump line in the main area, and then a new skills park and drops there as well. So another big project. And then the GAOA trail maintenance. We have some backcountry maintenance grant that's going to be happening. And then finally, Rattlesnake Hill in Leavenworth. This is a new community multi-use trail designed kind of by the schools. Or right near the schools as just a trail just to add into the valley. So that's what we have going on for 24.
Okay, so Raging, Tiger, Doothy, Tahali, Tenant, BDOS, I don't know how you're gonna fit it all in. Please welcome Michelle Valco with CTS.
Good evening. I'm excited to be here to share the chapter's accomplishments in 2023 and what is planned for 2024. Cascades to Sound serves 3 counties, King, Pierce, and Snohomish, with 3,122 supporters. This year, 1,550 individual volunteers contributed 8,425 volunteer hours. The education program taught 706 students. Cheesty South was completed. It is now pending final city sign-off. Tahali Bike Park was completed. It is now pending land transfer to Pierce County. Raging River Phase 3 has 4 new trails in progress. Summit at Snoqualmie completed Lower Burmy and Upper Mountain Trails and has started design on the next expansion with NEPA. And if you're not familiar with that, NEPA stands for the National Environmental Protection Agency. The Doothy Refresh completed new access trails and adaptive bike improvements on Boot Camp Trail. Maintenance continued across the chapter all year long. Very vital to us if we want to keep riding. Crystal Mountain was designed and flagged for bike park trails. The chapter assisted in Snohomish County Snowco with local assessment of a new ride park. Our Sawyer certification program was formally recognized by the United States Forest Service, first of its kind. And lastly, we added 2 chapter staff, Liz Lunderman and Jared Zemer. I love that. For 2024, we can look to Crystal Mountain NEPA study and groundbreaking. Tahali Bike Park to open in the spring. Raging River Phase 3 to open in the spring. Tiger Mountain's ongoing DNR maintenance contract. The MTV Festival returns to our backyard to Raging River. June 8th and 9th, come and get it. Weekly group rides, networking, and community building opportunities. Be sure to check out Evergreen's online community calendar for posting of events, lectures, workshops, clinics, and parties. Cascades to Sound has so much planned for 2024. We 100% welcome volunteers who want to get involved. Thank you.
Oh, you're already up here. I'm so glad to see you. The Jump Jam. Did anyone make it out to Port Gamble's Jump Jam? Best time I had this entire year on my bike. So thank you, Matt Orlando. Give us a good dirt.
All right, thank you. Yeah, how's it going, everyone? My name is Matt Orlando. I'm a board member and trail builder for the West Sound chapter. Yeah. Trying to get the sense of that 3-minute capsule a little loose, so I'll try not to rush over all this stuff. First and foremost, the completion of the Port Gamble ride park. That I close enough. Port Gamble. This ride park consists of 19 trails in total, ranging from flow trails to jump trails, tech trails, a dual slalom track, as well as the Top Gun zone, which is home to some of the largest jumps in the state. Moving on to Strawberry Hill Park in Bainbridge Island. We're excited to announce that we're at 60% completion for our design phase, and we're hoping to break ground on that in 2024. Another cool project in development is the Port Townsend Pump Track. This is going to be a paid pump track, and we're currently in the design phase for that as well. And recently just happened, we're really excited about this. We just secured the maintenance contract for 360 Parks. So we're going to be working alongside Key Pen Parks and all the local riding community to maintain and rebuild some of the existing trails that we all know and love. So another cool thing that happened this year is we hosted the Evergreen Mountain Bike Festival at Port Gamble for the 2nd year in a row. And so much so that it inspired our chapter to host a jump jam of our own, as you just heard about. It was a jump jam fundraiser, and it saw over 250 riders in attendance, and it was an awesome time, and we're hoping to do a lot more of that in the future. We also played host to the Wounded Warriors Foundation on improving access for adaptive users within our park. Yeah, it's a great success. Matt Lawson actually led this effort, and we were able to identify that this park is actually pretty well set up for adaptive users, and we're just going to continue to work with those guys in the future and make adaptive riding even more accessible. We also did a lot of great advocacy with the Olympic Trail Collaborative and the U.S. Forest Service, and this is just an effort to maintain the existing trails within the Olympic National Forest. So we're pretty excited to continue that relationship. It's a new one. A lot of people are pretty uneasy about mountain bikers out there, so we're treading lightly, but we're really excited to do a lot of good work out in the Olympic National Forest. Moving into 2024, we're really excited to announce that we are approved for 6 new trails within the Port Gamble Ride Park. This is going to include a bunch of tech trails as well as a jump trail that's going to kind of bridge the gap for users that are hoping to progress their skills into some of the larger lines within the park. We're going to start our maintenance contracts with Port Gamble and 360, so be on the lookout for a lot of good work parties happening. We're going to be pretty much having them every single month, as much as humanly possible. We're planning to host a couple of events out at Port Gamble, so keep your eyes peeled for that. Don't want to share too much just yet, but a lot of stuff in the works, and we're also trying to expand on our already really successful education program that saw a 300% increase this past year. We're hoping to put our construction bid out for Strawberry Hill mid-2024 and break ground before the end of the year, so fingers crossed on that. And then we're hoping to see the Port Townsend pump track go into the construction phase as well. And last but certainly not least, this is a new project that's in development, something that I've been working really closely on. This is a new ride park opportunity at McCormick Forest Park in Gig Harbor. And we're just kind of waiting to get ink on the paper for this design phase in 2024 with a potential construction phase in 2025. So yeah, that wraps it up for the West Sound. Thank you on behalf of the West Sound, and
The West Sound chapter is so cool. Next up, we are headed over to Cowlitz Natchez, where Tyler Foreman is going to give us a little rundown. Fun fact about Tyler, he manages White Pass Ski Resort. Has anyone skied there? Yeah. So we want to. I just do it. Oh. Anyway, thank you, Tyler.
All right, well, another busy year in 2023. We're still active on the Gifford Pinchot Sustainable Trails Coalition, and that group is working to develop the new sustainable trail strategy for the Gifford Pinchot National Forest. So a lot of good work going on there. Over in Yakima, the Rocky Top Trail System took a really big hit this year. DTG, the local landowner or landfill owner there, decided to close all of their land to public recreation access. That wiped out a significant part of the trail network. There's some other complications there as well, but the bottom line is never take your trails for granted. You know, we don't have much of a network over there right now. We stepped in to help Single Track Alliance of Yakima, Kawaichi Canyon Conservancy, and some other partners try to find some viable solutions. Mostly we're dealing with setbacks right now, but we hope there's a bright future there. So over in the Gifford Pinchot, we continued working with Orogenesis Collective and the Upper Cowlitz Valley Trail Coalition to do some maintenance on the Klickitat number 7 trail. Until Orogenesis got involved a couple of years ago, maintenance efforts were really, stutter stepped over there. There wasn't a lot of, a lot of momentum building. They got involved. Huge shout out to them. We're seeing measurable gains now. If you're looking for a really good high country experience, put that on your list. It's a pretty beautiful area. Soup Creek, this is really exciting for us. We've been hoping to get this trail onboarded since we started the chapter in 2017. And now it's finally in the NEPA process. It's past the cultural analysis portion of that. So one step closer, and hoping it won't be too many more years before we get that finished. Moving up the Packwood Valley to the Packwood Trail project. We've been supporting them through donations, through shared advocacy work. They were able to hire a consultant this year to start working on some really, knuckling down on some strategy, some fundraising approaches. So good things going there. And then Nat Cheese Fest, huge success. I don't think we've been to Kettle Fest before, but it's the same kind of feel. Come over, it's camping out in the woods, riding bikes. It really doesn't get much. Over in the Oak Creek Wildlife Area, we're currently working on a proposal for a loop extension of the Titan River Trail. Hope to get that on their desk this spring. Obviously staying engaged at Rocky Top. There's a lot of work to do there, but in the meantime, we're going to be supporting Single Track Alliance and their efforts over at Conowalk Pass, which is an emerging trail network there, and looking for other opportunities around the valley. Continuing to work with Natchez Valley Ranger District on Soup Creek. Hopefully that will yield some good results, more progress, and maybe more trails there in the future. And also looking at getting involved in some more projects up Chinook Pass and Highway 410. Obviously continuing with the Packwood Trail project. If they get their first trail that's in their proposal done, it'll be a big game changer for the Packwood Valley, and really is, the first step in what could be a larger trail network right outside of town. So it's really exciting. And then just continuing to work with all the partners in the Gifford Pinchot for all the maintenance out there. So come on, ride right in the Calisthenics Chiefs for a chance. Thank you.
We're about to switch over to our virtual presenters, but as we are doing that, I just want to give out a shout out to someone special. Katie Myers in the back. She runs Crank Sisters, and this year she had a group ride in every single chapter this year. Thank you, Katie, for everything you do.
Okay, we're actually going to take it over to Joe Brown now, who's joining us from the Methow chapter. Joe, can you hear us okay?
Sure can. How about on your end?
Yeah, you're coming through loud and clear. So you're up. Go ahead.
Awesome. Well, good evening and greetings from the Methow Valley. My name is Joe Brown and I serve as the president of the Methow chapter. It's great to be part of the member meeting this year. I always come into this a little bit tired and weary and come out the other end refreshed and re-energized. And I really wish I could be there with you all. Before launching into chapter work, I want to just take a brief moment to acknowledge our volunteers, our chapter council, our professional trail crew, and all of our members and supporters. You all make our work possible, successful, and certainly a lot more fun. So thank you. 2023 has been both a heavy lift and a great success for us. For new construction, our work was spread across two main projects. First, reconstruction and repair of fire-affected trails at Sun Mountain. We had big fires in 2021, still working on getting those trails back and revamped. So several of those trails were complete rebuilds and many required significant modifications post-fire, including Wild Turkey, Pete's Dragon, Ain't Never Nothing, Thompson Ridge, and then finally Upper Climate Change. And then second, we continued construction at Loop Loop North Summit. So as a reminder, this is a 35-mile trail project in and around Loop Loop ski area and will connect to the existing surrounding trail network. And so far we've completed 3 trails, those being Telemark, Upper Bear Mountain, and then just recently a yet to be named new descending trail. And then on the maintenance side, we focused on really 2 main efforts. First, Title II grant through the Forest Service provided funding to reopen Twist River, Bear Mountain, Middle Fork Beaver Creek, and Lightning Creek trails. And these total roughly about 20 miles of pretty significant trail maintenance. And then moving on to the fun stuff, our Dig Ride campouts. This is a really fun combination of challenging trail work, camping, eating, drinking together, and celebrating single track over all 3 days. And this year we reopened 8.5 miles of Blue Buck and Blue Buck Ridge trails. Really fun to be able to bring that to all the riders and volunteers. And then next, looking forward to 2024. Again, we have another ambitious year ahead and we're so excited for it. Basically have 3 main priorities. First, further trail expansion and reroutes at Sun Mountain. Some of the post-fire work requires NEPA. That has all been done this year. And we have some new trails that we'll be bringing online next year, roughly 8 to 12 miles worth. Next, we'll be continuing our work at Loop Loop and North Summit Trail Project. So this is phase 2. And for 2024, roughly 8 to 12 miles of work allocated there. And then finally, and I'm really excited about this because it's so much fun and more of you should come out and join us. We're expanding our Dig Ride campouts to include 4 key trails: West Fork Methow River, Birch Mountain, and then Peregrine Peak and Peregrine Creek trails. Most of you probably don't recognize those trails, and that's for good reason. These have been trails that have really been inaccessible, have had fires, really have been off the beaten path, and we're really excited to bring those back online. Anyhow, that's all from the Methow, and thank you.
Fat biking before? Yeah. Oh, yeah, all right. But all of you are invited on the Evergreen bus to head over to the Fat Bike Festival in the winter that Joe Brown puts on. It's super fun. And we are now headed down to the Southwest on our journey with Eric Albers. Yeah, he's gonna talk a little bit about Get Cold Burn.
Eric, can you hear us okay?
I hear you loud and clear.
Awesome, go for it.
All right, well, thanks for having me, and just really exciting to see everything happening around the state, and what a great organization we all belong to. So good work on everyone's behalf. So for Southwest, our accomplishments for 2023, we rebuilt Ross's grade, which was an old railroad grade that we built into a jump trail with the help of Brian Conley and others that came down and helped us out, which is a fantastic progressive jump trail. We also presented to the DNR a comprehensive plan for making the Yakult Burn more of a place with a couple good trails to a place with a real riding destination. And we're in the process of seeing that through, and Yvonne and I are going to be working on that here later this week. We also last year got an agreement from the city of Camas to build a bike park, and presently we're in the stage of trying to lock down the location. In the meantime, we also signed a management agreement for Lackmas Park, which is also in Camas. So a lot of good things happening on the Camas side of our zone. We also had the Yakult Burn Experience this year. Again, everyone here has some great event, and we have one too called the Experience. And we've got a lot of great partners that have joined with us in that, and it'll be back for another year this coming year on June 29th. So for 2024, the big news is the addition to our program is the GAOA maintenance agreement for Susan. If you've never heard of Susan, it was really kind of a one-trail pony. It is our backcountry exposure to the Gifford Pinchot from the south side. So you heard about Natchez there on the north, and we have the south side access, and it burned. And so we have a maintenance. We're working on a plan to go through and fix that and really bring back an old network that has really not seen the love that it needs. Anyway, in the Yakult Burn State Forest, we are going to continue the climbing trail this spring, and we also signed a maintenance agreement to keep that place tip-top shape, and it's really coming around to be really well maintained. 2 hours of dry weather and it's pretty dry. As you can see, the alcohol burn experience will be June 29th, and we're looking to ramp up our education again, as well as some advocacy issues, particularly trying to go to the DNR and push for this comprehensive plan for the state forest. That's all for Southwest. Thank you.
And now we are on to a really fun part of the night. Well, first I want to thank all of our chapter presidents for coming out to talk about the chapters, and now we get to go to our trail builders. Woo! Trail builders. So this part of the night, we're going to switch into a trail builder panel. We've brought some of our epically talented trail builders to come up to talk about the projects that they've worked on, some of the challenges that they've overcome, and what's made it a success. So come on over, everyone. As we're getting set up, Jared's gonna give a quick shout out.
Before we do that, I don't know if you've noticed this handsome man over in the corner. There's a lot of technology going on tonight. It has been weeks of preparation and he has done it all. Can we have a round of applause for Matt Horby? We could not do without him.
Like I said earlier, we're a trail construction company and advocacy company. Matt helps us and Cabell with all of our techniques. So thank you too. Awesome. So standing here before me and before all of you are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of our wonderful trail builders. So we're gonna ask them a few questions. What?
So Matt checks out. No, nothing.
Oh, okay. We can just strict schedule to Jared.
Okay, we're on a schedule.
So we're gonna ask you your name. Oh, also, I apologize for no stools. So you're gonna stand. But we're gonna ask you for your name, the type of trail building you like to do, and then how you got involved with Evergreen.
My name's Jeremy Bushnell. I got brought on as kind of a guy from the BMX world to help with pump tracks, help build some flow trails, and now have grown a love for building all kinds of trails. So basically was riding at Swan Creek one day and came across Brian, was like, hey, how can I help out here? And then he was like, wait a minute, I've ridden your trails before. Definitely come out and help. And then volunteered for a while and eventually got hired on. So that's how I became part of Evergreen.
Close enough? There we go. Brian Gustafson, been on the trail crew for about 7 years, originally from Tacoma. My involvement with Evergreen started before I was a mountain biker. I live right down the street from Swan Creek and was walking the dog and met some guys digging in the woods. And having been from BMX background, I asked if I could pick up a shovel and started a habit where I would turn a dog walking to a 5-hour work party ordeal and annoyed my partner. So with that said, I guess my riding style started out as a BMX flow trail guy. I've really grown into technical trails down there. I love it all. Thank you.
Yeah.
All right, Jesse Cunningham, you've seen me already tonight. I play a lot of different roles, but I got into Evergreen initially in the education department for our chapter. And as we started to get more trail projects, I saw the need for kind of managing those projects. And so I've been doing more.
Sorry, I was off screen trying to get in there.
Forgot about that.
You're good, you're good.
Hello, virtual world. So anyway, I sort of came in from an education standpoint, project management, I do some maintenance now as well. I'm probably the one that does the least trail building of all of these people, but I'm also involved in a lot of other things around trails. Yeah. Oh, and in terms of what I like to do, I'm more involved in maintenance and building. I'm kind of more interested in sort of raw backcountry type trails. So fits well with the work that we're doing up in Canham right now.
Good evening, my name is Paul Martin. I am the newly appointed maintenance lead for Cascades of Sound. You may have noticed a few less puddles on your feet, maybe not. If you did, you're welcome. Got started with Evergreen, just volunteering with a couple friends. You also may know that are unfortunately not here, Brian Connolly and Sean Lorenz. Known those guys for 10 or 20 years individually, and started volunteering and kind of found out that this could be a job, just hanging out in the woods and goofing off with your dogs. People ask about a favorite style or something you like to build, and I'd say just about everything, because trails are challenging and a challenge is fun.
I'm not really sure why I'm here. I'm still facing it. I'm Heather Deshodens. I just showed up one day and it was actually to Swan Creek. Brian was working and yeah, we got sucked in. My favorite type of trail is anything that involves biking, and I like it all the different trails. So yeah.
My name is Jared Zemer. How did I get started? So me and my wife, who's here, thank you for coming. We rode and dug Goofy like every day for 365 days a year for a while. And like at some point they're like, "Do you want to like work here? Like work for us?" And so I was like, "Yeah, I do." And so I guess I would say I like jumps. I like to ride jumps. This summer though, I got to work at Summit with Ian and Michael, who I think Michael's here. And it was like, that is some really tough, fun, hard building. So kind of like changed my perspective, but yeah, love it all.
I just want to quick go back to Heather. Heather is our only woman trail builder on staff right now. So that's pretty badass. I don't know if we can. It sounds like we have a lot of different type of trail building. We have our backcountry, what I like to call everything bagel, a little bit of Paul and Heather, and then some flow jump style building. And we have a lot of projects going on at Evergreen. What's been a project that has really challenged you? How'd you overcome it? And what made it so successful? Jesse?
I guess I spoke about the Tianaway Community Forest earlier, and that's our newest project in the chapter. And I think one of the challenges with that is sort of staying engaged. It's a 10-year planning process. But one of the real successes that came out of it is part of the community forest was the idea was that this would be managed as a sort of a group effort with the DNR and DFW as land managers, but also with user groups and conservation groups, really a part of the planning process. And I think that's been a really big success with this project, and something that I really wanted to highlight. The current build that we're doing now is a multi-use trail, which maybe not super exciting from a mountain biking point of view, but I'm really excited about it because we're working with WTA, Washington Trails Association, Mountains to Sound Greenway, Backcountry Horsemen. It's this collaboration with all of these user groups to make this trail system. And the specific trail that we're working on, we took sort of primary ownership of, but we have people from all these organizations coming out to work parties. And it's really cool just to see all these people get involved. So I think kind of the challenge has been just coming to an agreement with all these people and getting everyone with a common vision. And I think we've got that now. And I think it's really powerful. one of the things I really wanted to highlight.
Does every group have like a different building style? Like, are you learning stuff from the backcountry horsemen?
Yeah.
Are they learning stuff from you?
Hopefully they're learning. Maybe I shouldn't say that. Hopefully they're learning stuff from us. I think part of why we took on this trail in phase one, this is the biggest trail and sort of the heaviest lift, and we felt like we were the ones that could deliver on this. And we've gone out and we built essentially 2.5 miles of trail, which far exceeds what the other user groups have done. Not to say anything bad about them, but it's just we sort of have the infrastructure, and we've been doing these bigger builds, and we have that expertise to be able to really mobilize quickly and get work done. So.
Thanks, Jesse. Just a reminder to keep the microphone close to your mouth, so the people in the back can hear. As we're talking about like multi-use trails, we got to talking one afternoon about how every individual trail system works together for our community and our user group. And Jeremy has a little bit to say on that.
Oh, yeah, it's kind of wasn't necessarily a challenge, but as a trail builder, you know, we talked about, I have my style of building, Brian has his, you know, Jesse has his, and as a trail builder and trail rider, being able to take a step back and realize that every trail I build and every trail I ride may not be for me. It may not be for you, it may not be for everybody else, but we've built a system of trails in this area that maybe BDOS isn't for you, but Doobie's, maybe Doobie's not for you, but Tiger is, you know, so designed and built a bike park in Auburn. It's not a destination place where you're gonna go ride Auburn today, but we built it. It's 2 little table lines, a little turn line, a little cross country trails. And throughout that process, the second we started building, there was kids in that neighborhood watching us build every single day. You know, at the grand opening, there was a kid with forks backwards, with bars backwards, they've never seen a tabletop, they've never seen a drop in their life, right? You know, and during that build, some of the builders, I was like, no, let's keep making this fun, let's keep doing this. And some of the builders like, man, I respect like your, you know, drive to get this done. I was like, well, yeah, that kid was me when I was 8 years old, you know? And I haven't gone back to Auburn since it was done to write it, but every day I have friends hosting clinics there, camps there, and those kids are pumped on it. And the challenge has been me taking my step back and realizing that I may never come back and ride this trail, or you guys may never go ride there, but be able to step back and realize that not every trail has to be built for me, or for you, or for everybody else. So you go to a trail system and be like, this trail system is boring. Great, there's 10 more around us. Let's have some fun, let's ride some trails, let's build some stuff. And that challenge is finding what trail works for you, not that every trail has to be built for you. So me taking that step back has been very rewarding as a trail builder and a rider. So I'm not sure if anybody else has anything to jump off on that.
Well,
yeah.
So I've been working on certain development, and you kind of like built that trail with multiple user groups in mind on the same trail, right? You want to talk about that? Cool.
All right, dirt and debauchery. We've got some friends out here that came and helped build this trail. This was something that we had dreamt up, that all rider levels could all ride at the same time and not have to split ways, but something that you could truly progress on. So we built things with a rollable mindset that you could roll, you could pop, you could just keep sending it, making it super lappable and being able to take skill park skills and take it onto an actual trail. So yeah, it was super fun. We had, I think, over 80 women come out and work on this trail. People trusted us with a lot of dirt, and it turned out amazing. A lot of dirt and a lot of debauchery.
Or I like to say debauchery.
Debauchery. But yeah, it was a lot of fun. And from my experience going to work parties, most of the time I was one of very few females. So that was something I really wanted to target, was the women plus non-binary, and really focusing on getting all of us out there, being able to ask questions, having a ton of fun, and most of those women have come back, so it's been awesome.
It's been a huge honor to watch Heather grow into her role. I met her at when it used to be called the whole shebang, was all women's trail building clinic at Raging River, and now to see us here together, her taking charge on the trails is really, really amazing. So thank you, Heather. Also want to give a shout out to Chrissy, who's here with Donut Squad.
Yeah, who helps on dancing.
As Jeremy was talking about, you know, what's our first touch point with mountain biking and those trails? We think about, you know, the future and the youth of mountain biking and how they want to enter into mountain bike world. And sometimes trail builders have to get in the mindset of how do you take a trail that was built 10 years ago and evolve it into something that is engaging for riding as it changes. And so Ryan is really good at this, and also worked on Port Gamble. Do you have anything to say about that?
Yeah, so Port Gamble, when we're talking about challenges, from my position in that build as crew chief, on-site project management, that was a really daunting project. The West Sound chapter, this is going to be their basically their flagship park. We were looking at this from a modern perspective. Like, we have Dookie Hill as an example, it's exceptionally popular, but there are certain things that builders would have done differently, and here's the opportunity to do it. But with those lofty goals comes you end up with a lot of cooks in the kitchen, a lot of opinions, and a unique challenge with Port Gamble was we wound up with effectively 2 deadlines, because West Sound hosted Bike Fest 2 years in a row. We were in a scramble to get as much open as we could for Bike Fest in 22, and then all the builders kind of packed up and headed up into Suquamish Pass. And when we came back, and we had, you know, like 6-7 months to get all the rest of the park done, which included the masterpieces of the Top Gun film that the West Sound guys built. All this coming around to say it would have been totally impossible without a tremendous amount of community support. And that was, I think, what made it a success for us. Like, from a management standpoint, I couldn't have done it alone. It was a rocky start, and it all smoothed out once that community got engaged. Trying to not to miss any more points here, but yeah, we're really stoked that it turned out as well as it did. It's popular as it is, and it offers just enough progression that anybody can show up and be excited about it. And as we found out, including adaptive riders who were stoked on it. So I'm proud of everything that everybody that got engaged on it has done. Thank you.
Who got beer tonight? Yeah. I know a lot of people did because we killed the keg. Matt Blossom, who is serving the beers in the back today, he was also a big part of the build, and same with Matt Orlando. Some of the amazing brain powers behind Port Gamble. Yes, ma'am?
There's 6 glasses of wine left. No beer.
But just want to shout out to those 2. You guys created an incredible park out there, and we love heading over there and riding it. So I want to circle back to this everything bagel build, Paul. If y'all haven't met Paul Martin yet, he's just such a great curmudgeon trail builder. And all the work he's been doing at Tiger and Raging has been incredible. and we're so lucky to have the Cascades to Sound. I was working with him on an article that'll be coming out soon in our Backyard Builder campaign for end of year. And he was chatting a little bit about ET, extraterrestrial. Anyone rode that trail? And Paul has some stories around that.
I got offered a position to be a trail builder, and somebody said, hey, do you want to go help out on this machine built trail? And me being a new trail builder, I thought, sure, you just stand around and watch machine build trail, right? No, that's not how it works. What you do is you drag 10 gallons of diesel to the middle of Tiger Mountain by hand. That's a fun one. Also, you reshape a bunch of dirt because you build it with a machine, and then you actually test it with your bike and realize, hey, that doesn't work. Couple months later, lots of diesel later, somehow Brian got an excavator down ET. I don't know if anybody knows that, but ET is a machine built trail.
Brian Conley, if anyone knows who Brian Conley is.
Less hair.
Yeah, less hair, little wilder builds.
By the time we got to the bottom, there was a bit of a time crunch as usual, weather, machine problems, dirt problems, whatever you want to throw at that trail. We had it, lots of weather that year. And we started getting more work parties going, and volunteers came out of the woodwork to finish that trail. I think it was just because they wanted free test rides, but they also did a ton of dirt work. The interesting thing was that when you have different people building different parts of the trail, dirt debauchery, various other trails that had very big user influences, you get a different trail and you can feel it on your bike. The top of ET has some feels to it that a lot of people get surprised by, tight corners. The bottom of it kind of keeps your feet in check, so you get a little bit of knocking back and forth, bouncing off the walls. Altogether, it came together at the end. A lot of people put in a lot of effort, and it was really cool to watch that happen. Tons of volunteer Sawyer hours, cutting down a lot of dangerous trees to get that corridor done. And then a lot of very cool people doing a lot of really cool dirt work to help us get that trail done. And big thanks to everybody who volunteers, everybody who contributes, and everybody who put on rain gear and played in the mud. Big deal, because none of us would be standing here with jobs if everyone else wasn't involved. I think we all just want to thank everybody here.
All right, Jared.
Me.
Yeah, you. You spent some time up at Summit building the pass. What were some of the challenges up there?
Everything, yeah. I didn't know I had to speak to that. I thought I was just staying up here. It is like the mountain wants to give you nothing. Every inch of trail is completely earned. You will like flag a section in like complete rush. Shout out to Scott Miller back there. He was working up there with me this. You'll like flag a section and not know what you're doing, and then like you start coming through with the saws, and then like you have to go 50 feet in the other direction, and the mat layer is 2 feet deep. The mountain just gives you nothing. It is also the most rewarding building, I think I said earlier, the most rewarding building I've ever done. Like, you know, when you build a dirt jump, if you're doing it right, someone drops off some dirt for you, like, and you like picked the dirt before, so hopefully it's like pretty well sifted. But up on the mountain, you are like taking what you can get, which also means like if you find a 40-foot slab, you can take that too, which you guys have seen. Yeah, it's pretty fun, pretty challenging. Who else has worked up there? I think everyone has worked up there.
Jesse,
You know, Dustin?
I'll just add, Snoqualmie is 3 rocks in a trench coat.
All right, well, if anyone's ridden up at the pass, there's this really cool trail called Lost and Found. And I learned the history behind this name is that as they were building up there, Scott, you might know, you know that. No, he doesn't know this trail. Okay. Well, Sean Lorenz built this trail. Oh, Ian and Michael Fisher back there. Hey, you two.
Oh, Ian's here. Oh, those guys are leading the bill. Can we give them a round of applause? They're filling up.
All the trail builders here, all the trail builders come up. All the trail builders from Evergreen, come on up.
Are you guys cool with that? Yeah, trail builders. Let's go. Yeah, yes, please. Let's go.
Keep it coming, you can find
Every
it.
trail builder.
Every trail builder, big trail builder. So I love working with this whole crew.
The edge is right here. They're here, we promise you.
I ask them all the time to send me photos for social media and I get crickets back.
Could someone please take a photo right now? This is the last time this will ever happen.
So it's fun. Okay, no, I'm just kidding, they're getting a lot better. Scott was just up at North Mountain and sent us a wonderful video that went viral. So thanks, Scott. But now we're gonna open the floor for some questions for our trail builders.
Does anyone have any questions?
We have about 5 minutes for questions. This is also going out to the virtual realm. So if you have questions on Zoom, please type them in.
You have a question? Okay.
What are the 2024 plans for adaptive development?
Great question. Did you guys hear that? The 2024 plans for adaptive trail building, which is back here. A big answer.
Sweeney, not me. Fort Gamble's really good. Fort Gamble, Duty Hill.
Hi, I'm Sean Sweeney and I work at Fort Campbell. And you work at
Blossom, I work at Fort Campbell.
all right, so I work at Duty Hill and I've been really putting a ton of effort into the boot camp trail. I don't know if any of you have had a chance to ride it lately, but we are trying to make this adaptive friendly, both uphill and downhill, so that a 3-wheel trike can fit through the trail, like the entire trail system. That's right. And you can have an ability to ride through.
So, you gotta learn to read the teleprompter.
Adaptive bikes better than me. I've had a chance to ride with quite a few people, and I want everyone in this room to not look at like adaptive riders as different people. These are not different riders. They're not disabled people. They're all able-bodied. We are as well. And when you put them on a trike, they might actually ride better than you. So if we can get a chance to ride the same trail system and not go through a little squeeze of trees, it's like that, and really just keep shredding together, that's what's up. So I'm gonna try to keep doing that around Duthie Hill, get some these trails opened up so adaptive riders can continue to shred. The reason I was trying to give the microphone back to Matt is that Fort Gamble, they're doing the same thing. We test rode out with them out there, and I'm gonna hand it off to you.
Off range, I can't in frame, I guess, and Fort Gamble's really great machine built trails so far. We had the Wounded Warriors out there, a local writer named Jim come out, and we've identified a couple of small pinch points that we need to fix, and from there we'll get those fixed and trails open.
All right, thank you. I think, eventually that also means, hopefully changing signs. We're just getting started now, but there is a lot that Evergreen wants to do for adaptive riders for every rider. So this is just the tip of the iceberg and more to come. Liz?
Yeah, we got a really fun question upcoming from a human named Olive.
A human named Olive, yes.
Olive, here, take the microphone.
What's the funnest Evergreen trail party you've ever been to?
Trail party?
No, I meant just a party, like Evergreen trail party.
Like a work party?
What's the funnest Evergreen work party you've ever been to?
30B. Okay, what is the funnest Evergreen work party you've ever been to? Anyone? Dirt and debauchery work parties go pretty hard. I was at a work party like last Friday that was super fun. Anyone?
Norco work parties at the old Norco work parties at Fort Gamble.
Yeah. Sturdy bitches digging anywhere and everywhere along the I-90 corridor. They raise, organize, make their own events, and then they fix their trails, they shred them. That's awesome. Sturdy bees.
Just throwing this out there, we have a work party this Friday. So should definitely come out.
Sturdies give out free pizza and beer. I think it was actually the whole shebang was actually the most fun I've probably had. Just it had even more of what the sturdy work parties have, but they also brought a much bigger tent. So
Wow, people think it's never a good party.
Shovel and shred.
I have one that I haven't been to yet, so you should all put it on your calendar and I will too. Orcas Island, you dig out at Moran State Park and it's a whole weekend. Yeah, okay. When is that? Does anyone know? Brandon, you lead that. When is it?
It's coming up in May.
In the springtime. Okay, I'll see you all there. It's like 2-3 days with shuttles. Can I say that? Yeah. Yeah, with shuttles. So I'll see you there. Any more questions? How much time do we got?
We're gonna wrap it up real quick.
Cool.
So all these people cannot do their job without all of you. I think in the summer, at the height of our trail season, we could have around 84 trail builders on staff. And in the winter, we have around like 30, 32. So it fluctuates throughout the year, and that's for all of Washington State. So like, who's really good with words? Paul. Paul has something really important to share.
I think from all of us up here to all of you out there and in the camera and future members, the young folks like Olive and everyone else out there, thank you very much.
And come to a main work party.
Our amazing night is coming to an end. We have a few announcements. One, this really cool hat that I'm wearing, Ashley Duffus from Cosmic Dirt designed for us. Nope. We also are announcing that she is our Mountain Bike Fest director for this year. So we're really excited for that. June 8th and 9th, please come out to Raging River. And I would like to call up now all of the Evergreen staff to the floor. That includes you, Viveka.
And anyone volunteering here tonight?
Any volunteers tonight? Come on up, Evan, that includes you. You can come with your laptop. Scooch in here, everyone. Scooch in.
Board members, can you also come up? Don't worry, you're all coming up by the end of the night.
You know, my car broke down here in Washington, July 6, 2020. I had my bike on my car and I learned how to mountain bike in Port Gamble. And now I'm here looking at my coworkers, my friends, and my chosen family here in Washington, and they are incredible. They do so much work year-round to make the trails and Washington the best place to ride. So please give them a round of applause. We are now going to wrap it up with one last message from Yvonne.
Oh, really? Liz does this to me. She knows I don't like the mic. So first of all, Liz and Jarrett, thank you for taking that load off of me tonight and for making this super. I absolutely love going to work. I love running this organization. I love looking at the vision that you all have, landing new development projects, doing the advocacy for land conservation, working with conservation organizations, environmental groups, the backcountry horsemen, all of those partners that we actually truly need to be successful. So thank you for bringing us all together as a group, for making this possible for us. We do have, time's up. We are in an end of year campaign, so I can't complete this meeting without reminding you all that there is an ask for a final campaign of the year. We have about $120,000 to go. So help us set up right for 2024. Thank you all again for making this just the most amazing ride I've ever been on in anything I've done before. So thank you for making that happen. Thank you all for being here. For those of you online, if you can see me, thanks for joining us from all over the state. Have a good night. So if you are here in person, sorry for those of you virtually, go crack a beer. If you're here in person, we're heading down a half a block to a place called the Lunch Box. There are games, shuffleboard, food if you're hungry. Actually, shout out to caterer. Did we thank AK yet for that amazing spread? We still have that night. Come join us. We'll have a tab open and join the team. Hopefully, many of us will be there. So thank you again. See you next year.